We're slowly becoming more trusting of devices to take some of the responsibilities for our lives away from our brains, and it's almost like this is the logical evolution of the personal digital assistants. Back in the day, in the 90s, you'd have those Palm Pilots or devices that you'd use a stylus to put your things to do list on. And now, of course, we talk to our phones in natural language. Siri on the Apple's platform or the Android platform has Google Voice. You can say things like, remind me to do this task, and it will say, yes, I've done this for you. And that's quite incredible advances in tech. And we're allowed to kind of feel more at home with technology being a part of our lives now.
It's almost like if you don't have your Android or whatever, your tablet, it's like you've lost a limb.
For me, certainly that is the case. I have
done. Me too.
Yes.
You're saying that's exciting. I find that scary.
Well, this is what's so odd. We're slowly becoming used to the idea of technology playing a bigger part in our lives, and 2013 has certainly seen that. If you go to places like Japan, this attitude towards robots is very much as a robot as a trusted companion. I think in the West, the traditional view is that robots might be a little, well, if you look at the Hollywood blockbusters, a lot of them are about, oh, do we trust our new robot overlords? In Japan, for example, though, elderly people in old people's homes are given robots to play with in the form of the seal that's actually called Paro there. Yeah, it's very cute looking.
We're just taking a look at it now, and just give us an idea of how this works, LJ.
Well, it is essentially, it's a robot, it connects to a computer, and it gives positive feedback to the elderly people there who report feeling quite a lot happier with it. And, you know, the thing itself, I have seen one in real life. They are incredibly cute. And it's very easy for us as humans to put emotions onto inanimate and animate objects anyway. And something like this is a simple way to make somebody feel happy. It doesn't really matter if it's a machine or a pet.
With apparently a remarkable difference as well in terms of people's recovery. I also want to ask you about delivery drones. We've spoken about it a lot on this programme and on BBC World News. It sounds almost like we're into cyber warfare or something, but we're not, are we? We're just talking about the very simple chain of delivering information to humans.
Oh, are you talking about Amazon's PR thing where they say, right, you know, we're going to be delivering, we're going to use drones called octocopters to deliver parcels to people's front doors. In fact, it looks like it can only carry about 5 pounds worth of weight. That's 2.5 kilograms or so. And all of the top 10 electronic devices on sale in Amazon you can actually carry with that thing. But the CEO, Jeff Bezos, does say, look, this is quite far into the future. It's a great idea. I don't think it's going to happen for a while, but neither does he.
So perhaps not a trend that 2013 is going to see carry on into 2014?
No, I reckon maybe 4 or 5 years, because, of course, the FAA has to approve that sort of thing flying around in the airspace as well. So there's quite a lot of hoops to jump through.
Just that small factor there to consider.
Yeah.
OK, augmented reality, take it away. You've got to explain this all to me.
OK, augmented reality is just a posh way of saying when you use, you remember the Terminator movies where Arnie, I mean the Terminator, would be staring at somebody and then all this extra information would float around in front of your vision. So, for example, you'd be able to look at something. Let's say I could look at you and I could see your Twitter followers or your food preferences just like floating around you. That's possibly the future. That's one version of augmented reality. You can already use the camera on your mobile phone, float it over an advert, and then extra information kind of jumps out at you. So Google Glass is where you have a wearable computer that you put and in front of your right eye, and I have had a go on this, you can see little extra bits of information. So that could be giving you directions and things like that. That's actually a company called NTT Docomo in Japan. That's me. And that's a menu in Japanese, and that's floating the English translations over the Japanese characters on the menu. Really useful if Japanese isn't your first language. And then you can see the rather delicious looking fried chicken salad there.
Having been to Japan and spent a lot of months there, it is one place where that will come in very handy, I have to say. But likely to catch on, LJ?
Well, I think this is definitely going to catch on. It's already there, really. Google Glass was the first. There's going to be lots of competitors and lots of people doing similar things to wearable technology, not just on your face, but we've also got things like your wristwatches and smartphones and smart devices. I think Samsung had the Galaxy Gear. Apple's got the iPod Nano that you can wear around your wrist. I think we're going to see an explosion of augmented reality and wearable tech.
So this is all about how people are, or even companies, I suppose, allowing consumers to absorb information and also tell a lot about yourself and your profile, and I know that you're wearing something that we're going to have a little look at now. That explain to us what this is all about and how that absorbing information is kind of working in that tiny gadget that you've got there. I'm hoping that we can have a little zoom in as we can on
sure where you are. There you are.
But go ahead, LJ, just explain.
So this is a personal monitoring device. I've been wearing this for a little while. It tells me how many steps I've taken, how many calories I've burned, and just how much activity I've been doing. And then also, there we go. Oh,
there we go. Ah,
there
lovely.
you go. Now you can see it. Okay, that's 20 floors, nearly 3 kilometres, and let's have a look. 872 calories and 4,000 odd steps.
Right, so this is, I mean, how new is this? This isn't a new concept for 2013.
No, this has been around for a year or so. I mean, what's happening now is that what we're doing more of is we're able to analyse the data and use it. So this is the results of what I did, what was this, yesterday, and that's 17,000 steps, and this is what I've done today. So this allows me to modify my behaviour.
So now, if we just take a little bit of a closer look at that, on there we have all the information that we can about the calories that you've burnt, the minutes that you've been active, the floors that you've climbed, and the steps as well. And that's all coming straight onto your phone from the device that you're wearing.
Yes, that's connected via Bluetooth. What I think is interesting and relevant to 2013 is that this is merely the start, because we're going to get more and more connected with our devices in the future. I personally think that we might see a future where I'll get home and my fridge will say to me, hey, LJ, you can't have that cake because you've not done your step target for today. You know, this, in fact, what I've done is I've ordered you some sushi instead. It's going to be delivered.
I don't think you need a talking device to say that. My mind pretty much says that to me when I open the fridge, but anyway.
But imagine, though, this ability to analyse our sort of data as ourselves, it's really interesting. There's I think it's called Shadow, that allows people to record their dreams, and then you can check trending dreams by location. So say, for example, everyone in South America has the same dream. What does it mean? It doesn't matter. You're collecting data.
Actually, I do remember that very well, and I remember the young man that came up with that concept, because we did cover that actually on BBC World News as well. I'm going to very much put you on the spot now, LJ, because of course we're approaching the year end. You've talked to us very much about what's gone on in 2013. I want to know about the buzzwords for 2014 and the things that we should be looking out for in the world of technology.
Right, well, it's probably not that difficult to predict what's going to come up in the next few months, in a couple of years. It's when you start getting further out into the future, it becomes taxing. Certainly 3D printing has taken the world by storm, at least not quite on the level yet where we're all going to have one in our house. I think that, do you remember when you used to have MP3 files and nobody knew what they were? And it took a company like Apple to make the MP3 accessible. Press a button, listen to music. I think the same thing will eventually happen with 3D printers, but at the moment we're at the point where you have to download a pattern, you have to calibrate a printer, and then you have to kind of do quite a few steps before you can print something in your house. Once somebody cracks that and makes it as user-friendly as download this music and play it, I think that's going to be a trend. And also the continuation of wearable tech, I think that's going to be big. We've got Google Glass, there's a lot more coming, and I think we're ready to embrace it. There's just an interesting thing going on between how much we're prepared to share and privacy and security matched with the benefit that we get for sharing that data, and that I think is going to be a big
old age argument, isn't it? Okay.